One of the more impressive museums you'll find in Minnesota sits just outside the town of Onemia. It's the Mille Lacs Indian Museum, a facility housing artifacts and historical items chronicling the history of the Mille Lacs tribe in central Minnesota.
Mille Lacs Indian Museum started out as a trading post, and the trading post is still an active trading post. We buy and sell and trade items with American Indians. Sell a lot of handmade items made from traditional materials and pretty much using a lot of the traditional methods that have been handed down from generation to generation. Today we have not only a trading post but also a state-of-the-art museum. And the main exhibit area really talks about more contemporary issues that American Indians and specifically the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe are involved with. Our Four Seasons room a lot of time is talked about as being one of the best dioramas of any museums anywhere of American Indians, and which is a life-size diorama of how the Ojibwe lived a couple hundred years ago. And in that room we talk about cyclical living, kind of the cycles of the seasons, how the Ojibwe would sugar bush in the springtime, fish in the summer, harvest wild rice in the fall, and then make winter camp and trap and ice fish and different things like that. The Minnesota Historic Society has ran the site since 1960. Prior to that, it was a trading post that was run by Henry and Jeanette Ayers. When they actually donated the land, the buildings to the Minnesota Historic Society, they also donated a collection of 2,000 items that they had amassed over their time of running the trading post. So a lot of the items that you see in the museum are part of the Ayers collection, it's called. And a lot of those items date back turn of the century, so about 100 years old. The new museum was built, and which was opened in 1996. The Minnesota Historical Society worked very closely with the Mille Lacs Band members and the community, and so there was things specifically made just for the exhibits, like some of the dance outfits you'll see in the regalia in the Living Culture exhibit, for example. More recently, in the last, I would say 5-10 years, is cultural preservation has taken a priority among tribes, especially when you have the loss of language, when you have a lot of elders passing away that, maybe are the last ones that make a certain item or knew how to do things a certain way. So I think that you're going to see more and more museums like this coming up on Indian reservations and in Indian country. The Mille Lacs Band moved into this area about mid-1700s. Prior to the Mille Lacs Band settling around Lake Mille Lacs, the Dakota called this their homeland. And the Ojibwe that settled here were actually part of a longer migration that came from the East Coast. And today you can find, Ojibwe throughout Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, that type of thing. So Ojibwe are a very large tribe in North America. But the Mille Lacs Band has been here since the mid-1700s. There's been struggles historically, one getting recognition of the reservation here. Another thing that, was predominant in the 1990s was the hunting and fishing rights, a Supreme Court case that the Mille Lacs Band brought all the way to the Supreme Court and won to affirm their rights to fish. We get about 13,000 visitors a year here. It's interesting, we get people from all over the world, really. We have a world map up at the front door and we ask people to put pins where they come from, and we get people from 50 different countries each year. So the reaction is really positive. People really like coming to the museum, especially people if this is their first time coming through. We also offer workshops and special events. We have a powwow each year. We have an Indian art market. We do different crafts workshops so people can learn how to make moccasins or Ojibwe mittens, sweetgrass baskets, different things like that. And those are very well received too. People really enjoy doing those. One of the things I think that's important for all museums that talk about American Indian content is to highlight that it's a living culture, because a lot of times we want to place American Indians in the past, and so by the Four Seasons Room we talk about the past, we talk about a couple hundred years ago, and that's good for people to know, but it's also just as important that people know that we're still living these traditional ways. There's still people going out harvesting wild rice, there's still people tapping the maple trees to make syrup and sugar out of each year, netting, you know, that type of thing, so that these ways are still alive, you know. And a lot of times where these ways can really continue to live and even strive is on reservations, because you have that place where you have the cultural knowledge and you have the cultural resources to do those things to keep those ways alive.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.